Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a lovely day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. And I want to revisit an old concern, and that is birthright citizenship. The Supreme Court of the United States has agreed to hear Donald Trump's argument against birthright citizenship for certain people. And every time birthright citizenship comes up, somebody tries to throw Black Americans in the pot. So I just want to reiterate to you, this has nothing to do with Black Americans. I believe the Supreme Court is going to listen to this case in the spring. The people that need to be concerned about it are people who come into this country illegally, people who come into this country and overstay visas, and people who come into this country through fraudulent means. Those people need to be concerned. So let's look at the 14th Amendment, the Citizenship Amendment. Section 1 of the 14th Amendment says, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. That is what the 14th Amendment, Section 1 says. Now, what's in question is where it says, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. That's what's being argued. And what Donald Trump's administration is saying is that if you came into this country illegally, you're not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. If you came here on a student or work visa, that is a temporary assignment. You are still a subject of the country that you came from, not of the United States of America. If you came to this country 9 months pregnant to have a baby, neither you nor your spouse is a citizen of the United States of America or a legal resident, then you are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States of America. In the past, all of these people who were having babies in the United States, their babies became citizens because they were born in the United States. The Trump administration is saying we are going to do away with that part of the 14th Amendment because it's open to interpretation. They were not subjects to the jurisdiction of the United States. The enslaved people were subjects to the jurisdiction of the United States. So nobody is in the same category as the formerly enslaved people or their descendants, which would be us. White people automatically became citizens of the United States because they were invited to come to the United States and they were grandfathered in under whiteness. So here are some Americans speaking on the 14th Amendment.
So I got some breaking news for you. Donald Trump has asked the Supreme Court to end birthright citizenship. And I support this decision because the way that birthright citizenship is being applied is wrong. The original intent of the 14th Amendment was to grant citizenship to the children of slaves who were born in the United States, not the children of illegal aliens who are born in the United States. He wants to get rid of the concept of anchor babies. And there's going to be some uneducated liberals that are going to say, The 14th Amendment states that all persons born in the United States are United States citizens. That's incorrect, because you're forgetting one very important piece. All persons born and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Illegal aliens are not primarily subject to our jurisdiction. Their allegiance is to their home nation. Well, what about US v. Wong Kim Ark? Yeah, that Supreme Court case had to do with children of Chinese nationals that had permanent domicile in the United States. They were legally allowed to be here. They were legal residents. So no, birthright citizenship does not apply to children of illegal aliens born in the United States. I say it all the time. If Democrats could read, they would be Republicans.
So there goes that phrase again, subject to the jurisdiction thereof. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Supreme Court is probably going to side with Donald Trump because the American people have had enough of this illegal birthright citizenship. Here's another opinion.
I can't believe this is actually happening, but the Supreme Court just agreed to hear President Trump's case on ending birthright citizenship. And this could redefine what it means to be an American citizen. Trump's order, if you remember, says that kids born in the United States to illegal immigrants or short-term visitors shouldn't automatically get citizenship. Now, immediately lawsuits hit, claiming it violates the 14th Amendment, specifically the phrase subject to the jurisdiction thereof. I mean, that's the entire fight, really. Does it mean anyone physically here for 5 minutes, or people who actually owe full political allegiance to the United States? Now, for context, the 14th Amendment was written in 1868 to guarantee citizenship to freed slaves, not to answer modern questions about illegal immigration or birth tourism. And the big court case that everyone seems to cite dealt with parents who were here legally and permanently living here, not people who were here unlawfully or temporarily.
So you can see where this is going. People are taking advantage of the 14th Amendment and birthright citizenship in the United States of America. And then they turn around and talk shit about the United States, just like those Somalis up there in Minnesota. They are talking about this country this and this country that, and they want to give advice about how to run America when they can't even live in their own country. So I believe that we're going to see an end to some of this freeloading that we're seeing with birthright citizenship. So now, to top it off and end the video, here's the president.
The case is very interesting because that case was meant for the babies of slaves. And if you look at the dates on the case, it was exactly having to do with the Civil War. That case was not meant for some rich person coming from another country, putting a foot in our country, and all of a sudden their whole family becomes, United States citizens. That case is all about slaves, the babies of slaves. And it was a good reason for doing it. And that's all it was about. And people now are understanding it. It's been explained to them, and I think the court understands it too. That would be a devastating decision if we lose that case.
That court,
because our country cannot afford to house tens of millions of people that came in through birthright citizenship. When that happened, that was meant for the babies of slaves. And if you look at the exact dates that it was passed, it all had to do with the Civil War and the ending of the Civil War. It's that little period of time, and people now are starting to understand.
So the takeaway, babies of slaves, as he said, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. These people are not subjects to the jurisdiction of the United States of America, so they should not be granted citizenship. So no matter who you come across that might be saying that Black Americans is going to affect you too, they are wrong. They are wrong. That's number one. Number two, in order for the citizenship of Black Americans to be affected, the 14th Amendment would have to be repealed. Now listen carefully. Neither the President of the United States nor the Supreme Court can repeal an amendment. but they can interpret that amendment because these people were not coming to this country in 1868, dropping babies out of nowhere and crossing the border illegally. So they weren't even dealing with this in 1868 when the 14th Amendment was passed. So anyway, y'all, be safe out there. Have a good evening, and let me know what you think about the video.